Thưa quý khán giả của Viet News USA, sống ở Hoa Kỳ, nơi được mệnh danh là thiên đàng trên đất, với sự kết hợp của các giống dân cùng chung sống và chia sẻ các ngôn ngữ, văn hóa, đem lại một sự kết hợp hùng mạnh khó có đất nước nào có thể sánh bằng. Tìm hiểu thêm về các cộng đồng bạn qua những con người thật, việc thật, cũng sẽ giúp chúng ta biết thêm được nhiều cái hay, cái quý đáng học hỏi. Chương trình song ngữ, cuộc sống quanh ta, với các khách mời là những doanh nhân, nghệ sĩ, thương gia, chính trị gia, sẽ đem đến cho chúng ta nhiều bất ngờ thú vị. Chương trình được sử dụng với hai ngôn ngữ tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt, và với sự điều phối thật linh động lưu loát của cô hướng dẫn chương trình xinh đẹp và tài giỏi của tiểu bang Arizona, Tiffany Mộng Tuyệt, sẽ giúp các bạn trẻ thêm sự gần gũi với cộng đồng Việt Nam và cũng như những người khán giả của Viet News USA biết thêm được nhiều thông tin cuộc sống xung quanh ta. Trọng Phúc chào đón quý khán giả đến với chương trình của Viet News USA, một chương trình thiết thực cho mọi gia đình. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã luôn ủng hộ các chương trình của Viet News USA và đặc biệt là chương trình song ngữ cuộc sống quanh ta. Chương trình nằm nối kết các thế hệ với nhau bằng một chương trình song ngữ. Ngoài ra, chương trình còn tạo điều kiện để chúng ta cùng tìm hiểu về những cộng đồng bạn, những văn hóa, phong tục, tập quán, cùng những thành công, những gương tốt để chúng ta cùng thêm sự hiểu biết và cùng hòa nhập trong cuộc sống tại Hợp Trung Quốc Hoa Kỳ.
Welcome to a journey of courage, hope, and new beginnings. We are starting a new series where we listen to stories of people who made a brave choice, leaving their homes in Bhutan, Ukraine, and Congo to carve out a new path in the United States, particularly in Arizona. These are not just stories of travel. They are about leaving the loved ones behind, navigating unknown waters, and building lives from scratch. And each journey is unique, filled with both hardship and heart. Well, next I do have the pleasure of introducing to all of our lovely audience here a guest by the name of Drona Mishra. Drona is actually from Bhutan and he was raised in Nepal. Been here and working at the IRC Center on 43rd Avenue since May 2009. So previously, Drona worked in a refugee center. And I guess one of the things, Drona, I'm very impressed with so far with this facility here is they employ quite a few people who's come from your similar background. I think it's probably just to serve as immigrants and, since you guys have expertise, and I'm sure you yourself have been through that quite a bit. So maybe take a few minutes here just to share with the audience your overall experience that led you to today.
Actually, when I came here, I came as a refugee, So we left the country when I was, I think, 3 years old. And somehow we are raised in a camp, in a refugee camp in eastern part of Nepal. So we lived there for 20 years near the river bank. So under the thatch and the bamboo huts for 20 years with no electricity, just like limited food supply and also no electricity, But good thing is we had a good parents, where they know that education is very important. So in the camp also we have a school. We have a Nepali, as a subject, but most of the subject was in English. That was very helpful. So we have Nepali as a common language, as a native language, but English was more priority. So I finished my here because I never got full education here, but there we say I finished up to grade 8, then I got a scholarship, full scholarship outside the camp. Then I studied there. It's like a private boarding school, until like 10th grade. Then again, after that, I got more scholarship and I finished my high school, but it was a campus level, up to 12th grade. Then after that, again, I went to the capital city of Nepal. It's THIliwon University. I finished my bachelor in physics, math, and statistics. Then around 2007 or 8, there was a process where the U.S. government, wants to take us, to U.S. because the U.S. Bhutan government doesn't let us to go back. So we, as my parents, they accept the offer, So we can't go back because my father was wealthy guy. He used to do a trading business to Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India. He had huge business. Where he has to leave everything to the government, government sees everything. So my father was tortured in the prison. My uncle was, my neighbor was, so a lot of my relative family member was beaten to death, where they were forced to leave the country, they normally do not let them go, even they're leaving the country. They just make them a video that they're not leaving them forcefully, they're leaving by their wish, but it was not true, the government all recorded and let them leave the country, was escorted to until Nepal because they don't want us to hide in any part of India, they want us to go back straight to Nepal and stay in the refugee camp. So, and we didn't have option to go back and do anything. So we said, okay, we want to take this, opportunity to come to US. So we came in 2009. I was the first person from my family to come over. So, and my parents and my younger brother, they came after me because there was some sort of category where they can take adult and minor with the parents. So I came here. When I came here, I work in the airport as a cleaner, custodian. So I did pretty much everything when I came here. And again, in 2000, I think I came in 2009, 10. I was an interpreter, doing both everything. And I went back to school. And then I got my MA degree, in 2011. So since then, I've been working, I worked at Arizona Medical Clinic. That was my first, as an MA job. I worked there for 10 years. And during that time, I worked with Dr. Wu in 2012 too, as an MA, I worked with her. And I worked with pretty much a lot of provider, MD, PA, NP, and I trained to MAs, a lot of school around the valley, MA school, So, yeah, and this is where I am now, so.
Well, Drona, thank you for opening your heart and tell the whole story. I guess you haven't told the story in a while, so when you retell it, it's emotional, it's coming back to you, all of the experiences that you went through. I must say 20 years in the refuge camp, that was a long, long time. When you were there, have you ever felt, or do you feel that you were gonna actually leave the camp? Was that thought ever cross your mind?
It was because we're small, as a child, you don't know what's gonna happen, but we are very lucky where my parents, they were not educated, but they know the value of education, you know. So we got that education in the camp. So the environment was not bad in the camp, you know. We used to help each other like as a family or as a community, you know, as a relative. So the environment is really good over there, you know. So I didn't think about of leaving the camp, you know. There's not my choice. If I want to leave the camp, I want to go back to Bhutan, you know. So, or I want to go to foreign country where I can explore my education, you know. So.
So when the option to come to the U.S. was made available to you, what was your thought? Were you surprised? Were you happy? Did you still want to go back to your home country?
I was thinking to go back, but there's no option. Option was totally closed, and there was no guarantee that they will take back. So I said, yeah, because I know America, you know, that was my goal, even like my plan and goal. Once I finished my master's degree, you know, in physics or math, you know, I want to come over here. So it was kind of luck that we got that approach from the U.S. government, you know. So. We were very excited and we were very happy. We didn't reject it, we accepted it. So
very good. And then you certainly took the opportunity to really excel in the United States here. I think just as with most immigrants, I myself an immigrant from Vietnam as well, took the opportunity to really excel and today try to give back to the country. If you recall, what were some of the most surprising things about the U.S. when you first arrived here? If anything.
It's just culture, I think. Yeah, because like in the camp, when we see any tourists, you know, any guest visitor coming in the camp, we used to run after them. You know, like, wow, you know, we have a guest, you know. We don't know anything about them, but it's still, we used to welcome them, you know, we used to follow them, you know. But when I came here, it was kind of different because when I see anybody, even I don't know, but they will say hi to you. I thought that, oh, these people, you know, probably they know me, you know. I was kind of surprised, you know. That's a kind of interesting part when I came here too.
People are friendly, they say
they're
hi,
friendly, yeah.
They just treat you like another person, which is wonderful. Any of the culture shocks or things that you had to adapt to coming from, in this case, you know, a refugee camp, now in a country that's more or less really developed?
Yes, first few years it was kind of difficult. Even whenever I'm talking, you know, whenever I'm walking, whenever I go for shopping, because it was kind of interesting because we're with different community, you know, where they're involved, you know, because this person may not know where I'm from, you know, so maybe my skin is similar, but still don't know where I'm from, you know, so.
It's just still having to battle a little bit of that here. And fast forward to today. Tell us about today. You know, what do you do? Your family situation, and have you ever been back to your home country, or is that still something that you're unable to do?
So back home country, we can't go because what it is I'm a citizen, you know, I'm a U.S. citizen now. So I got in 2015, you know. So in our citizenship, like, you know, I mean, passport card says my birthplace is Bhutan. So that means I was born there, but I can't go back.
Okay.
So they will not let us allow, you know. But Nepal, where I was raised, you know, for 20 years, so I can go there, you know. So, but I haven't been there because of the family situation, everything, you know. So. Hopefully, you know, in future, maybe in 1 to 2 years, hopefully I'll go back to Nepal. But I still have my older sister, she's still in Bhutan. My uncle, you know, my mom's brother, younger brother is still there, and my other relative is still there in Bhutan. So
So there's still definitely hopes to see them.
Yes.
Hopefully in your hometown, but if not, perhaps they can also come here. So I understand from your story that probably gives you a lot of incentives and reasons why you're working in such as Arizona Family Plan, where there's a high focus on helping the new immigrants. What are some of the things that you share with the immigrants, especially the newcomers?
What I can say to the newcomer, don't hesitate to ask anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you see any let's say if you see any resources, ask them. Or advice. I'm kind of a social person. If I see any event, I go there.
Okay.
Because what happens if I go there and get more information, I get to know, and I can teach my kids, I can teach my neighbor, I can teach my relatives. So as a newcomer, I want them to go to the event like any immigrant office, and ask them if they have any coming event or anything or city event. It's very helpful, even not for education part, but to expose with someone, and whenever you need a help, and there's always help you get it. So that's what I have been getting in the past.
Aside from working at the Arizona Family Plan clinic here, what other contributions or involvement with the larger community do you do? As
a Bhutanese, I'm a Bhutanese, so as a Bhutanese, I'm one of the leader in the community too. So we work with like Congolese community, Syrian community, Burmese community, and like Somali community, Nepali community too. So to how we can bring awareness in the community, and what we can bring, to help the community, what they are needing, what's the opportunity we can grab for them, so what elderly, population need, what's that need, and what the kids they need it for school. So we just completed like 5 weeks training for a high school, student from ASU. So
it's very active within your collective community as well. Can you give us a little bit more information? How large is this community? Do you know?
Our Bhutanese population probably here more than 100,000, but in Phoenix we used to be like around 7,000 to 8,000, but most of them, because of family, reunification, they went. Most of them they moved to East Coast. But probably here we are like around like 500, 500 Bhutanese. So, but Nepalese probably I don't know, but we have more Nepalese here too. So.
Mm-hmm. And I understand, since your experience, what you've gone through, and your involvement with the community, is there any efforts that you're doing to effectively change Bhutan back at home? Have you got to that point yet?
Can you repeat that?
Yes, of course. So I know that you're highly involved in the local community here, but are you also doing anything to probably help change either the policy back at home in Bhutan, where you technically cannot go back to for now?
Maybe if I go with the community, maybe I can help them out, to put my feedback. But when I left the country, I was small, I don't know much. So what I can relay is, I know only the story that I got from my parents, and maybe here and there I may remember as a kid a little bit, like, maybe a small thing that, that kids can remember, but I can't do much, even if I do, but there won't be any difference. So.
Well, thank you for that, I guess, realistic answer. That's very realistic of you. Thank you for sharing your story. It's a very, very touching and nice story, and I think it's, represents quite a few people, especially sitting in this room right now listening to your story. And we applaud you for making a difference in your own experience. You're successful today, and you're helping the community, the local community, and I'm sure in a way you're helping the larger community, aside from what you're doing in Arizona as well. So thank you for sharing your story.
Okay, thank you for giving opportunity to share my story. And also, I would like to give thank you to Dr. Wolf and Arizona Family Clinic who gave me opportunity to share my story for the first time.
We really appreciate your story. You can tell it's...
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and we'd love to see you again back on this show at some point. So I'm now educated that there's about 500 plus Bhutan residents here in Arizona. I am sure our producer would want to do a more in-depth story of the community, learn a little bit more and share a little bit more about the community with our larger audience. Thank you, Jonas.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm.
But they're not alone. In this series, we also shine the light on the kindness of strangers like Dr. Sunvo and her team, who welcome these newcomers with open arms and helping hands. You will hear how their support paved the way for integration and success. So join us now as we listen to these inspiring immigration stories. Be ready to be moved by their stories, inspired by their courage, and compelled to act. We encourage you to share the stories, discuss these stories, and open your hearts and lend your support, and become part of the welcome and embrace that makes America a true land of opportunity for all.
Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã theo dõi chương trình song ngữ Cuộc sống quanh ta với Tiffany Mộng Tuyền và khách mời. Chương trình phát hình vào mỗi tối thứ hai hàng tuần trong khung giờ quen thuộc là 7 giờ PM giờ Arizona trên channel Viet News USA. Mọi đóng góp ý kiến cũng như tham gia chương trình, vui lòng liên lạc với chúng tôi qua số điện thoại 602 481 2647 hoặc theo địa chỉ email info.vietnewsusa@gmail.com. Chân thành cảm ơn. Chúc quý khán giả có một ngày thật là vui bên gia đình và người thân. Hẹn gặp lại quý khán giả trong chương trình tới. Và đừng quên bấm nút like, nút chuông để luôn theo dõi cũng như chia sẻ các chương trình của Viet News đến với mọi người. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.